Welcome to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by a more distinguished guest, Executive Director Wendy Peroni of Three Rivers Avian Center, and Myrtle, the Raven Ambassador, join us today. Thanks so much for coming to the forum.
Well, thank you for having us. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. It's always a good time having you here. And you too, Myrtle. This is the first time we've had a raven at the forum. We've had, birds here before, but I think never a raven. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So for the people out there that don't know, can you tell them what Three Rivers Avian Center is all about?
Three Rivers Avian Center takes care of injured wild birds and also provides environmental education programs, and we participate in research and restoration projects. It's a private nonprofit organization. We're located in the southern part of the New River Gorge between Hinton and Sandstone, and we have 13 ambassadors, and this is one of them. It's one of the birds is a permanent resident. She stays with us year-round, and she comes out and meets people. That's her job.
Nice. So she's very beautiful and she's more talkative too, so hopefully we're hoping she makes some sounds here at the community forum, has a little something to say to us. But she is a little talkative. She's extremely beautiful, as you all can see. But
Pretty bird.
Very pretty bird. For ravens, for people who don't know much about them, what are some interesting things about them?
Well, they tend to live in the higher elevations that you can find throughout the northern hemisphere. But here in West Virginia, they pretty much go, the bulk of them are along the Appalachian mountain chain. They're going out into the center of the state and then sort of taper off as you go over to the Ohio River. So you'll see them mostly in the mountainous areas. They don't particularly like urban environments, but West Virginia is pretty rural, so you can pretty much see them anywhere. They do not migrate. They stay here year-round. She has about a 5-foot wingspan. And she weighs a little over 3 pounds, and she knows she's gorgeous. That's that's the other thing.
Obviously, she has to know. But are there any special things that you have to do? Because you all have multiple birds at the center. Is there anything like special that you have to do for ravens that you don't have to do for other birds?
She is highly, highly intelligent. Ravens are the largest of what we call the corvid family, which includes crows, ravens, blue jays, magpies. And they're the largest. And highly, highly intelligent, very inquisitive. And they are known to use gestures, which is unusual. Most of the time, you'll hear calls or something like that. But the ravens have actually included gestures, picking up something and pointing with it or whatever, which is unusual in anything except primates, which we found was sort of interesting. One of the things we also discovered with Myrtle is if there's a way for her to pick at it, pick it apart, break it, rip it apart, she will do that. So we call her, in fondness, Destructo bird. But that's typical too. They're very tactile, very nice raven. So she has a lot of toys. Most of our ambassadors, you can give them toys, but they're raptors. They're not geared that way. But she definitely is, and particularly shiny objects. So we actually have a couple of commemorative coins that we, find hidden in her in her cage, and then give them to her again later on. And she always is very proud of them and then hides them very carefully. They're known for caching objects, which is what that's called when you hide it away. And they're very careful to make sure that when they're caching food, that other ravens are not around. If other ravens are around when they're caching the food that they want, then they will wait till the other ravens leave, and then they will move it from that cache to another cache. So they'll hide it even from each other, just so I can have it just for myself.
Well, they're very clever, extremely clever. So that's really awesome to see. And if you all want to go to Three Rivers Avian, you all have the days, the discovery days, where people can come up and look around and get to know you guys.
Yeah, we have free public tours. They're the first Saturday, May through October, from 1 to 5 p.m. And we also host the Migration Celebration, which is a festival on the second Saturday of May. In previous years, it's been at Little Beaver State Park, but We are moving it to Pipestem State Park, and we're very excited. There's a lot more opportunities there, and the staff is very excited to have us moving. So we're hoping that people will come see us at Pipestem for the migration celebration, second Saturday of May.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you all mark your calendars. We're definitely going to mark ours as well, because that seems like an event that, you know, a lot of people will want to be at. I think a lot of people don't know that, like, we have a very rich bird population here, and there are a lot of birders around as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a really awesome way to, like, introduce people to, you know, the population in the community of birders.
Right, it is. And it's not just, it is about birds and their ecosystems that they live in, is what the whole festival is about. It's free and it's open to the public. And there's everything to do from, you know, little kid activities all the way up to birding walks and hikes, and there's arts and crafts and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're hoping that all family members will come out and enjoy. And you learn a little bit about birds, have a lot of fun, get outside, move around a bit. It's all good stuff to do in the springtime.
Awesome, and definitely at Pipestem. So
yeah, Pipestem is beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be right at the headquarters area.
Awesome, so this should be a wonderful time. So
yeah.
We'll keep that marked, and hopefully we'll see you before then as well, so we can talk more about it and make sure that we remind everybody about the migration celebration, and it's something awesome to do.
Thank you. Thank you. That'd be great.
Definitely. So it's been frigid temperatures out here.
Yes.
I think the last time that we were here, we talked about, you know, bird feeders and things that the community can do to help out our local bird population. But, you know, amidst the cold and things, and some of our furry friends, or our feathered friends that are still here, what are some things that we can do to help them out?
The biggest thing to do is to keep your bird feeders filled with high quality seed. Black sunflower seed is easy to purchase. It's probably one of the cheaper feeds to get. Just make sure when you buy it in a clear bag, not in one of those paper sacks, because those are always low quality seeds. What they need a lot of fat in this sort of hot, cold weather. So there's fats and oils and stuff to give them the calories that they need to survive these temperatures. So that black sunflower seeds, peanuts. You can put out suet cakes. We highly encourage suet cakes. They make the woodpeckers happy, and many others as well. Oh, pretty bird, aren't you pretty? Show off. And also, if you can, establish some sort of a shelter for them. If you've got your old Christmas tree nearby, maybe put it near the bird feeder so that birds can get into the needles of the Christmas tree and get out of the weather a little bit, and that sort of thing. Sort of be creative in your thinking. If you've got hay bales, maybe stack a couple of hay bales near a feeder to get it, the wind breaks for the birds. You are just having more fun.
She knows she's on TV, she's got to perform.
That's right, that's it, man.
She's got to get my 15 minutes. I'm not mad at it at all. But, you know, that's awesome advice for, you know, people out there that really want to, you know, help protect the birds, because you still see a couple flying around, and like you say, the ravens, they don't migrate. So help out our raven friends as well, keep them fed.
Yeah. Well, ravens eat a lot of different kinds of food. They're actually omnivores. So they will eat small rodents and lizards, small snakes. They'll go after nuts and seeds and berries. They'll go after, we've discovered that sometimes she likes to eat fruits, you know, so we actually sometimes share mandarin pieces with her. She thinks those are wonderful. Yes, yes you do. So her diet is actually very varied. They love to eat hard-boiled eggs too. That's another big high-value food, as we say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is that because she is part of the corvid family, or is that something more exclusive to ravens, just their diet?
It's part because ravens and crows are both omnivores. Blue jays, not so much. Magpies, yes, somewhat. So it is in the family. Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about crows before the show started, and I know some people get them confused, but I have learned the difference. Look at the beaks.
Yeah. That beak means business.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't want to get poked with that.
She's very gentle with it most of the time, except when she's trying to get our attention, then she's rapping with it. So Edgar Allan Poe, yes. When she wants something, she will not stop rapping. Right.
Give us a little speech there too.
Yes. Hi, Myrtle. Hello. Hello. Hi, Myrtle. Pretty
Hello.
bird. Yes, you're a pretty bird.
So I noticed that crows also kind of have that thing where they collect certain things where you can kind of befriend them. Is that something among corvids, or is that something just between kind of like ravens and crows with them, how like similar they are?
That's between ravens and crows mostly. Blue jays don't seem to mind. They will take shiny objects on occasion and stash them, but not like the ravens and crows. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
I wonder if did they ever like figure out a specific reason, or are we going to have to get into the mind of like a raven and figure out like, guys, why do y'all like to hunt for treasure?
Well, I think it has to do with the intelligence level.
Oh, okay.
They're one of the most intelligent of all the birds. And I think that it's just look at us humans. We collect all sorts of stuff for no particular reason whatsoever. I can't tell you how many people come up to us at displays and programs and tell us that they collect owl figurines, for example. And, so it's particular to them.
Oh, nice.
And
so they're hobbyists, just like us.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And the other neat thing about ravens too is that they often you'll find a bird learns by trial and error, tries to do something and it doesn't work. But ravens will learn from each other, and so will crows. And they will actually figure something out ahead of time, how to figure out a puzzle, and then just go right to it and do it. So that's again the high intelligence level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a good thing you can't really own one as a pet, because I mean you don't want to get outsmarted by your.
They will ruin your house, I will guarantee you, and anything else around there. Yeah, they are protected under state, federal, and international law. You cannot shoot them. There is a crow season. You can shoot crows, but you cannot shoot ravens. So you better know the difference.
Awesome. I'm glad you plugged that in too, because that's something you don't really think about. You hear about eagles and things like that, but you never hear about the other, protected birds. So do not hurt the ravens ever. I don't know why you would want to. They're beautiful. So we're about a minute or so out from our break, but before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information so people know where to find Three Rivers?
Sure. We are on the web. Our website is tracwv.org, and our Facebook page is Three Rivers Avian Center. It's very active. We have a new post every day, Monday through Friday. And you can also call us, 304-466-4683. And our address is 2583 Brooks Mountain Road, Hinton, West Virginia, 25951.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And thank you, Myrtle. And you all stay tuned. We'll be right back to talk more about Three Rivers Avian Center and all the wonderful work that they do. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Executive Director Wendy Peroni of Three Rivers Avian Center and Myrtle, their Raven Ambassador, and we're talking about everything that the center does and some really cool things about ravens. So I don't know if you guys have heard her, but Myrtle has been making a little bit of noise here, trying to, communicate with us and tell us what's going on in her world. But apparently ravens make a lot of different noises.
They are mimics. Yes, they are. And so she has several words and sentences she says. She will say, "How are you?" She will say, "Hello." She'll say, "Hi." So all those variations. She has a smoker's cough. She can imitate chickens, the crows of chickens, the mooing of cattle. She's got that down. It's really interesting. Every now and then she comes out with a new one. We were doing a program at Watoga State Park in the fall, and she came out with the word fire. Now, we don't know where she learned the word fire from, but she came out with it very clearly in the middle of the program. It's like, okay, that's it, fire, right. Fire, yes.
Well, I guess that's handy. So if she sees something, she can say something.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. It may depend.
It may not be what you think it might be.
It may not be what you think it is.
But she also has some loud calls that you would expect, like some croaks. She has some like a caw sound. It can be pretty loud. A squawk as well. And there's more, but it's interesting always with her.
I'm sure. Especially the fire thing. You know, you just turn around and like she's saying new words. Like, it was like, who taught you that? Like,
were we talking about a fire in front of you again?
Yeah, like what happened? Who said something in front of you to make you say that?
Yeah.
So was that another thing that crows and ravens have in common? Because I think crows can mimic too.
They can mimic a little bit, not nearly as well as
Not
ravens.
as much. Okay, gotcha. Awesome. Well, it's so wonderful, and it's always so interesting, you know, to talk to you, because I always learn new things about like what's going on with different birds, especially the ones that you bring. And you know, I just really want to know, what was it that got you interested into, you know, birding and conservation work?
Well, when I first got started doing this, I knew the difference between a blue jay and a robin, but that was about it. And that was 34 years ago. So it's one of those things, you get your toes wet, and next thing you know your feet are wet, and next thing you know you're doing something. So that's kind of what we're hoping with the migration celebration, and also when we do some of these programs and stuff, to encourage people to look at the ecosystems that these birds live in, and suddenly you start learning more about the birds that live in them, and then you just sort of sky rolls along after that. So and also in the last 20 years, we've lost almost 52% of the migratory birds we used to have. And you can see it day to day. The skies are emptying. You're not seeing nearly as many birds. And here in West Virginia, we're kind of a sweet spot for birding, especially here in the New River Gorge. We're known internationally as one of the great birding spots in the world. So we sort of spoiled, but if you go into other states or other areas, you'll find that there's not so much happening. And it's enough to make everybody worry about it, and it's accelerating. So we try very hard in our programs and in our outreach to bring into focus some of the things that are causing some of the decline. Some of it's habitat loss. Some of it is the ecosystem changing, not just the habitat loss, but the ecosystem itself is changing. For example, out west, they're losing a lot of raptors and such because they're doing these large-scale farms using these huge, big, heavy equipment things. And as those roll over the ground, they actually crush the mouse runs and tunnels and moles tunnels. So there's prey is disappearing. So as the prey disappears, then you lose the other. And it just sort of keeps rolling along like that. But it's all the way across the board. It's everything from wood thrushes to hummingbirds to, you know, scarlet tanagers. American kestrels are taking a hit. Sometimes it's the use of flame retardants. We're finding that that's showing up a lot in the blood work and tissues. And with other things, poison like lead. People using lead ammunition, we had no idea how bad that was, and we're finding out that it's a huge problem. Many of the birds the raptors that we get in the wintertime have a level of lead that's enough to make them sick, if not to kill them. So it's something we all have to worry about, and they're getting it from scavenging. You know, something that's been shot with lead ammunition. Maybe it's the squirrel that got away, or that deer gut pile that somebody cleaned out and left in the woods. It would be all right. No, it's not. You just left a poisonous load, and it's going to kill things. So it all adds up. And if we all, you know, window strikes are huge. Cats, you know, people let their cats out all the time, and many populations are found in the towns and cities. You know, where they're just feral cats running around and everybody feeds them. Well, they're also feeding on birds, you know, and they never stop because birds are exciting to chase and catch and all that. So it all adds up, and a lot of it's stuff that we can do something about.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting that a lot of that that you mentioned are things that are really prevalent here, like hunting is big here, mm-hmm. and also just hunting, and then there's the cat population as mm-hmm. well. We get a lot of news from, you know, local humane societies that are overcrowded. They've got so many animals they can't even take any more in, and then you still see cats on the street. In my neighborhood alone, there are several cats. So guys, be sure to spay and neuter your animals, and
Yes.
also be careful with like what you're doing when you're hunting and things, leaving out lead, because it could really hurt our bird population, and that hurts us as well. And I think a lot of people, they don't understand that part.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're using lead ammunition, lead tends to shatter as it goes through the skin, and there's a little puff of air behind it, and that just pushes those little shards way across the whole body. When you cut out the area that has the gunshot, ammunition in it, you're not getting the fragments. There's a study that was done in Wisconsin before they were doing the same thing we do with hunters helping the hungry. And the DNR up there decided to start x-raying the processed deer meat that was coming through for lead, just because they wanted to see if it was really there. And they ended up ditching an entire year's worth of meat because every single package had lead in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something, we're really going to have to, just be more careful with things like that. And it'd be awesome if we could even talk to you even further in depth and maybe do like a package on this to let, the general public know. Because I think a lot of people, they don't think about, the bird population, and it's just because maybe they're not as educated about it. I don't think we've been as educated enough about, how important birds are for us in our ecosystem.
Yeah, and they really are. If you look at our language is filled with references of birds, on a wing and a prayer, for example, and so many others. Birds have always been super important to the humans, even just as a spiritual thing or, in actual ecosystem, because they're the number one control on insects. There are major control on on rodents and things that you don't want to have in your house, So, a single barn owl can, take out, about 10 or 15 mice every night, just for one barn owl. So it matters, it adds up.
I really love them also for the snake thing, because like I'm not a snake fan, so thank you for that, Myrtle. Thank you so much.
Snakes are wonderful. They're actually very cool, but I get your point.
They are. I'm just really scared of them. I don't want to harm them, but I also don't want to be around them just because they really frighten me. But
I get it. Yeah.
I'm totally cool with them. I would never hurt a snake, but I just hope they don't hurt me either.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So for the people out there that maybe they in between your open house days and the migratory celebration, they want to read up more or learn more or find a way to like help out our bird ecosystem. What are some things you suggest that they do?
First of all, get outside or put up a bird feeder if you don't have one, and then learn the birds that are coming to your bird feeder. There are several apps that you can get for your phone to help you identify birds if you're just getting started. One of the best ones out there is free. It's called Merlin, MERLIN, and it's put out by Cornell University, and it's excellent. And you can identify by sound, you can identify by picture, you can identify just put it up on a windowsill and just let it run for a second or so, and you suddenly realize that bird right there is a titmouse, or that one right there is a junco, and you start to learn more about those, and then you can find out about the natural histories of those particular birds, what they eat, how they behave, that sort of thing. So it's an excellent app. I can't recommend it enough. And get together with some friends. Buy a pair of binoculars. There's several places now, sporting goods stores carry them. I keep finding them turning up in all sorts of great places. But get yourself a pair of binoculars, and that will help you see further and see more clearly and see the markings better. And that helps a lot.
Awesome. And I know it's a little late now, but we did just have a bird count over Christmas too.
Yes.
So I think that would be something fun to do as
That's
well.
a great way to do it, because that's when people of all abilities get together. And so basically in our case, it's usually people get in a car together. You have one person that's a recorder, one person's a driver, and then all four people are looking for birds, and so the other two people don't necessarily have to know, but they have to verify that bird is there. So the bird itself, and so it's kind of like a mobile car party going around. but it's a lot of fun, and you learn a lot. We also just finished doing the 20th annual Winter Eagle Survey for Southern West Virginia, and came up with 55 bald eagles. Oh. Yep, and that the hot spot for that still is, Bluestone Lake, and they picked up, I think, was 17 at Bluestone Lake, so all ages too.
Nice. I didn't know that it was that many. That was another thing that was surprising to me. I've actually been able to go to the center, and I didn't know that there were as many eagles around as there were, but I did get to see the one at the center that you all have.
Yeah,
Regis, yes. Yeah. And it's funny because, you know, they talk about how like birds and dinosaurs are very like similar, but I think when you see an eagle sometimes you can kind of hear it, how like that is a similarity, and that is definitely a thing to experience. So, you know, if you ever catch any of their open days, please go up to Three Rivers Avian and check it out. We're about to head out for the end of our show, but before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information one more time?
Sure. Three Rivers Avian Center, its address is 2583 Brooks Mountain Road, Hinton, West Virginia, 25951. Our phone number is 304-466-4683. Our website is www.tracwv.org. And our Facebook page is Three Rivers Avian Center, so join in.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely tune into their Facebook page as well, because you all have a lot of awesome events too. I saw the photography event too. That was really cool.
Yeah, we're doing that. The other thing that we're very excited about this year is we're actually going to be at the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show this coming up Saturday. So we will be here, I guess this will show after that, but so we'll be there from noon till 2 there at the Coliseum. But yeah, we're getting out and doing stuff, so we'll be somewhere near you, maybe.
Wonderful. We'd love to see you both. So thank you so much, Wendy, and thank you, Myrtle, and thank you all for joining us this Sunday. Be sure to tune in next week, and until then, have a great weekend.